18 under par after a few holes today. He's already -2 off to a strong start. He's played some remarkably consistent golf here this weekend, was bogey-free in round 2 yesterday, and has led the way after he was a stroke back in round 1. And there is a logjam in behind him with currently a 4-way tie for second place. Nicholas Sutton, Mark Lawrence, Will Grimmer, and Tommy Kuhl occupying those spots. And we will now take a look at the groups coming up to finish off their rounds. As mentioned earlier on, a couple guys already done with their rounds. Jake Miller and Ty Gingrich, the first groups, among the first groups to come in, along with Case Morgan and Sam Arnold. And here on the 18th, Ricky Palonus and Caleb Ramirez, both striding up near the green. Drivable par 4 here at the 18th at Clovernook Country Club. 318 yards. Let's get a look at Caleb Ramirez striding to the back side of the green. Temperature in the mid-60s. Pretty warm out there in the sun, but some swirling winds to keep an eye on as this final round progresses. Top 47 made it through to the final round past the cut here in the 7th annual Clovernook Open. As mentioned, Peter Nade out in front. Interestingly, though, Willie Mack III, who won a 5-way 2-hole playoff to win this event last season, missing the cut here in 2025 by a couple of strokes. And so we will not see a back-to-back champion for the first time here at the Clovernook Open. However, 2022 and 2023 champions, Michael Devon and Daniel Wederick, are still in play here for the final round. So this is Ricky Palonus getting ready for his approach. A little bit right on the 18th. And left it just a hair short of the green. Left with an uphill chip. Right side of the green, a little bit clearer with the rough. Left side with the 2 bunkers. For Ramirez now, just a few yards short of the fringe. Pin near the backside of the green. And this is going to set up for him really nicely, and he will have a very makeable putt for birdie as he sets up to finish off his round. It's been a little bit tough on both of these guys here today. Ramirez took a double on 2. Currently sitting at 1 under par for the tournament. For Palonus, 2 under on the day, 2 under par overall. Uphill chip towards the pin. So that'll stick for Palonus, and he'll have a par putt. Ramirez birdied on 18 yesterday after parring it in round 1 on Wednesday. Hoping to make it 2 birdies in the final 3 holes to finish his tournament here today. Palonus has parred the 18th in each of his first 2 rounds. And sinks it. So Ricky Palonus will finish 2 under par for the tournament as his Clovernook Open comes to a close. And Ramirez with the make. It'll go for birdie, and that'll move him to 2 under par for the tournament and move him into a tie for 41st as the round comes to a close for these 2 guys. Let's take a look back at the 18th tee. See the first tee shot land about a yard short of the green on the right side. Again, this 18th is drivable. A hole that favors the long ballers. Tough with that tree line on the right side. Get it all the way up. 318-yard par 4. More birdies on this hole than bogeys yesterday. As next group will come up to the green, and we'll take a look at the leaderboard here in the 2025 Clovernook Open. And checking in with, again, the leader, Peter Nate, still through 3 in -2 on the day. He's extended his lead to 3 strokes over the 3-way tie for second place at 12 under. And less time to make up some ground for Will Grimmer, Mark Lawrence, and Nick Sutton. With Nade's lead, Group P and Tommy Cool through just 3 holes. So a couple of drives left just short of the green, but pretty centered for the approach. Just 4 bogeys on this hole yesterday, so a hole that is pretty forgiving to the par at the very least. We saw 66 pars in total with the full-size field prior to the cut yesterday. Lone eagle came from Tommy Kuhl, who had a brilliant second round. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but shot the low round of this tournament to this point. After shooting a 70 in round 1, shot a 61 yesterday to put himself in contention, fueled by a really strong final 3 holes. So we will shift our attention back up to the 18th green and the approach up to it. This shot will come up near the pin and will be a very short birdie putt. Couple of strong approaches. A couple of short putts on the way. This will be the 4th pairing to finish up here this afternoon. Just pushed a little right. So a tap in par. And that is sunk in for the birdie. Just taking a look back down at the 18th tee. So we'll take a look at the leaderboard, and we will step aside here at the Clovernook Open. Be back. So back here at the 18th, duo of Andrew Wilkinson and James Morton getting ready to finish up after a tee shot that was pushed way to the right. Wilkinson is going to be forced to lay this back to the middle of the middle of the fairway. Try and get up and down for par. Meanwhile, Morton, who has had a tremendous final round, climbed all the way up into a tie for 18th thanks to a 3-under day. He's going to have a chance for the birdie putt. Wilkinson will head back off the green. Wilkinson, who had a strong second round yesterday, including an eagle on one and just one bogey. His round yesterday has hit a much different final round. It hasn't worked out for him. 5 over. Trying to just finish this out. Stay at 1 over par for the day. He'll have a short par putt to conclude the round. A sloping putt coming up. Could be a tough one for James Morton. But already on the back of a brilliant day, can he cap it off? Potentially another leaderboard jumping type of putt here on 18. And he just leaves it short. So it'll end on a bit of a sour note, but still a big round nonetheless for James Morton, as he'll finish up 3 under par on the day and 8 under for the round, currently in a tie for 18th place. Quite consistent golf here this week. 69, 68, 68 shot by him in his 3 rounds. Andrew Wilkinson knocks in the par putt, and so he will stick it 1 over for the round, and he will conclude. Tough final one for him, but made the cut to make it here to the final day after the big round yesterday. So we'll take another break as we take a look still at our scoreboard with Peter Nade still in front here at the 7th annual Clovernook Open. Back here at the 18th, here at the 7th annual Clovernook Open in North College Hill, Cincinnati. West Pulley with the rest of our great Chatterbox Sports crew on hand. Next group stepping up towards the green, Jackson Chandler, Kyle Alexander on their way. Tee shots coming up around the green. So both these guys will stride up. For Alexander, a tough day. He's 9 over, shooting the high round to this point. Currently 4 over, which puts him in 47th, occupying the final spot amongst those that have made the cut here for the final day. On the contrary, for Jackson Chandler, things have gone pretty well for him. So we've seen here today, the wind has calmed down a little bit, but when going, it has been pushing the tee shots to the right, which has left a few players under that tree line. And that chip, unfortunately, is going to be left up just short of the green, it appears. So it'll have to be a chip from under the trees. Kind of coming up over the hill, and then sort of a little bit of a ditch right before the green. Somewhat of a difficult approach here on the right side of the green. Just couldn't quite roll that. Looks like the rough ate that one up a bit just before it could get onto the green. So again, it'll have to be a try to go up and down for par. That's a heck of a shot off the chip from the right side. But of just a few feet left for birdie. That first bounce off the chip looks like it got the edge of the rough. That's going to leave a tough par putt coming up. Inconsistent wind has made it a little bit difficult for the tee shots here on 18 today, but these players have putted well on this green in this tournament. Just pushed a little bit right. Never broke down. That'll be a tap-in bogey. Again, the bogeys were rare yesterday here on the 18th. And just 4 of them in total. Will drop for the bogey. That'll sink in for the bird, and that'll finish up the round. And so, taking a look at the leaders once again, still Peter Nate in front now through 6. That's 16 under par. However, the 2023 champ Daniel Wedick has made a push for the lead as he's now up to 13 under par thanks to a -6 day. He is through 12. But we have seen some strong finishes in the first couple of rounds. Not out of the question for Wedick, who's got a third of his round to go to maybe make an attempt at the lead. But it has been Peter Nate pretty much wire to wire in this tournament so far. He's got 2/3 of his round left in front comfortably by 3 strokes. We'll step aside, have more coverage for you on the other side of the break. You're watching the Clovernook Open here from North College Hill. To the 18th tee. It's a beauty shot that ends up just short of the green. It will be in the rough, but only about a yard or so off the front edge of the fringe. Saw a gust of wind pick up right as this group stepped to the 18th tee box. Again, there's been some right to left gust a little bit in the face of these golfers on the 18th hole today. So that tee shot ends up on the right side of the fairway. Now 10 or 15 yards short of the green. And with that slight headwind, has made this 18th a little bit tough to reach the green on. 318 yards. We saw this eagled yesterday again by the low-round shooter Tommy Kuhl. But for the most part, the players who have struck it well off the tee on the 18th today have seen their shots go pretty much right where these two guys have, short of the green, down the middle, setting up a short approach up to the pin in the back right side of the green. Let's get a look at the path down and around the winding creek that makes its way through this golf course. Seventh annual Clovernook Open. It's been going since 2019. This is the fourth year of the three-round format with the cut. And again, no repeat champions. If the results hold, that will continue to be the case. However, Daniel Wenrick is making a case for himself, the 2023 champ, who has the best three-round score in the history of this tournament, going 14 under in 2023 to win it. And he is 14 under right now after picking up another birdie on 13. Wenrick started his round with an eagle on 1 and has since strung together 3 birdies in a row twice now on holes 5 through 7 and 11 through 13. So he has vaulted himself into sole possession of second place, still 2 strokes back of Peter Nade, who is still dormant on the 7th. So this is Grant Eagle and Vince India on the 18th. And that is a beautiful approach. Stuck less than a flag's length from the hole. This one will roll just to the right off. Again, another strong approach. The drive is left up the middle. That has allowed the players to have an easier shot at the flag. I haven't seen anybody go left yet into the teeth of the wind, but the tee shots that have gone to the right have been a lot tougher to get uphill onto the green. So this is Grant Eagle and Vince India, both stepping up for makeable birdie putts. It'll be India first for birdie. And just burns the left edge. Tap in par on the 18th. That'll be knocked down. The birdie for Eagle on the, Engel on the 18th. And so Engel goes 2 over for the round, -3 overall. Same said for Vince India here this afternoon. So we go back up to the 18th tee. Wesley Hunter and Varun Chopra coming in. That shot will end up just in the lighter edge of the rough on the right side. So these guys will approach to finish up their round, and we will take a break. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way.
2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club. More coverage on the way. 20
back here at Clovernook Country Club for the 7th Clovernook Open here in 2025. Aaron Chopra, Wesley Hunter striding up to the 18th green. Be the 9th group to finish up here this afternoon. We'll still have plenty more coverage here for you throughout the afternoon as the leaders make their way through the last few holes of the front 9. The first golfer we've seen on the left today that far back, but Wesley Hunter has delivered a beauty of a chip. Just slid that across the flat part of the green down the middle. And he will be set up for the birdie. Now it's Chopra's turn. And the back spin will have him set up right next to Hunter. And these two guys will both have makeable birdie putts to finish off their rounds here on 18. So now, as these guys get set to step up with their putts, have some special guests to come in and pick up the flag from our friends at Play Yellow. Partnership with the Children's Miracle Network in Cincinnati. And Play Yellow's done great work, not only with this tournament, but many others, raising money for children's hospitals. They've got the Birdie Pledge going on right now. And the Play Yellow flag carried off by our young friends here on the 18th. Hunter's had a big round. He's going to earn himself a nice paycheck, already 5 under today. A chance to make it 6 with the putt. Just left it a little far to the left. Unfortunate misfire there for him at the end, but still Wesley Hunter climbing the leaderboard. Currently in a tie for 9th as it stands, with the tap-in par on the 18th, 11 under overall. Now Varun Chopra 3 under today. Will step up. Chance for his first birdie on 18 in this tournament. Chopra sinks it. So he'll finish 4 under and -9 for the tournament and move into a tie for 14th. Both these guys with really strong final rounds. And time for the flag return. Again, you can pledge to donate through Play Yellow for every birdie in this tournament. Came into this round here today with almost 300 of them overall in the tourney. Pledge as small as a nickel up to $1 or more for childhood cancer charities. And once again, thanks to Play Yellow and their partnerships with the Clovernook Open here this year. So back up to the tee box where it is Mikkel Matheson and Ryan Cole coming up. Cole 2 over today for a -4 mark on the tournament. Matheson 3 under. These guys went in opposite directions here today. Matheson currently -9 off a 3 under round to this point. This came after he shot a 65 yesterday. Only one other inside of the top 20 that has shot a 70 or higher round, and that's Tommy Cole. And both of these guys, well, those guys redeemed themselves in a big way yesterday. Of course, Cole with the 61 round and Matheson with the 65. Third best performance we saw in round 2 yesterday. So as these guys approach the green, take another look at the leaderboard. And Peter Nade and Daniel Wedrick now in a tie for the lead. So should be a fun finish to monitor as those two make their way through their last few holes. We'll keep an eye on it. For now, we'll step aside here at the Clovernook Open. Kel Matheson, Ryan Cole stepping up for their approaches here on the 18th. As we make our way through middle of the pack amongst those who made the cut yesterday here at the 7th annual Clovernook Open. And alluded to it just before the break. But there has been a change up top after a big round from Andrew Dorn, who finished second in this event in its inaugural year way back in 2019. Dorn's round of -8, as he's gone to the clubhouse, now puts him into a tie for third. So he is the biggest climber of the day after he entered the day -5, having barely made the cut, but shot a 63, which is the second best round we have seen anyone shoot all weekend. And at the top, Daniel Wedick, aiming to be the first repeat champion, has moved into a tie with a guy who's been Mr. Consistency this week, Peter Nade, who was bogey-free throughout the entirety of his round yesterday. Nade picking up his first bogey on number 7 today. That came after he eagled hole 1 and had a commanding lead through the early holes, but for Nade, he bogeys for the first time since number 6 in round 1. And his last hole today, that being hole 7. And so through 7, he's 15 under. And Wedick, who's been a big climber, currently -8. He could shoot even par, would tie for the low round to this point today, with his 4th straight birdie coming on the number 14. And that's put him into a tie for first place, again, as he seeks to be the first repeat champion in the 7th year of this event. He was the winner 2 years ago in 2023 and is the most recent champion to make the cut after the defending champ Willie Mack III failed to do so by a couple of strokes yesterday. So this is Ryan Cole. And 2 over today. That's a tough one coming from pretty deep near the cart path on the left side, and so putting it up against the back of the green. It's a little bit of a pushback from the lip of the fringe. But after everybody in the first 5 groups or so was out right off the tee, we're starting to see, as the wind has calmed down a little bit, more golfers on that left side. For Matheson, who's had a big round today, another nice approach, as that'll stop up for him a flag's length from the hole. Less slopey putt for Matheson than what his partner Ryan Cole faces, going from the backside of the green towards the hole. Cole will have a look. It'll be his putt first, and again, it's going to be a much tougher one. Having gone a little long of the hole. Going downhill with a little bit of some left to right break. Cole for birdie on the 18th. And just straightened out a bit on him. A little left, and he'll tap in for the par. Two over day for Ryan Cole. He finishes his tournament at 4 under. And he'll head into the clubhouse in a tie for 33rd place. Now the attention shifts to Mikkel Matheson. Qualified last year for the U.S. Amateur Championship. Played his college golf up the road as a Wright State Raider. First year pro. Matheson just left a little. They'll have to tap it in for the pars. Both these guys will take 4s off the strong approaches. Matheson's day ends 9 under overall with a -3 final round. So back up to the 18th tee. Jake Dukes and Florian Lutra. First tee shot drops dead center in the fairway. And a little short of the green, but with the headwind these golfers have been facing, just made the green very difficult to reach today. That's the spot you want to be for the simplest approach. Both guys in really strong position off the tee. We'll leave them with ideal approaches up to the flag here on the 18th. So another look at the standings, and Wedick has continued his strong run now into the lead for the first time today as he breaks the tie. Painter-Nade still has not progressed a hole yet, waiting on the 8th to finish up. But for Wedick, he has now made it 5 birdies in a row, and he will step up to the 16th tee in the lead at 16 under par as he tries to win 2 of the last 3 Clovernook Opens. So we will take a break here from North College Hill. Again, stay with us. Leaders starting to make their way towards the 18th. Jake Dukes for Florian Lutra on the 18th. Here from Clovernook Country Club in North College Hill. I'm sure the Frenchman will approach first. Both these guys with pretty strong drives given the conditions. Clear skies today with the temperature in the mid-60s, but the wind in the face of the golfers here on 18. This made a drivable par 4 difficult to reach. This is about as good as the drives are going to get for these players. See if this will spin back a little bit for Lutra. It will set up near the fringe. So I'll have to putt into a little bit of a slope here on 18. Try and finish off his round, currently tied for 19th. He's birdied 18 in both of his previous rounds, I should say, trying to make it all 3. Bit of a difficult putt on the way for him, though. 2 under today, -8 overall. Has a chance to move into a tie for 16th. If he can sink this tough birdie putt. Or Jake Dukes, on the other hand. It's been a tough final round for him after it started off well. Birdie on 1 and 5. But 5 bogeys in total for him. 3 over par, currently tied for 39th, but has a chance to at least make it a better ending into the clubhouse after a nice shot off the tee. And this is a beauty. Slope is going to take that a little left and just never quite spun back on him. So it looked like it might end up sitting about 10 feet from the hole. Is going to be a little more difficult for a putt, as both these guys are going to end up with similar attempts at birdie. Lutra knocks it in. Tough one there from the edge of the green. Man, that is a huge birdie for him to put him at 3 under for the round and jump him a couple more slots up the standings. Big time putt, and we'll see now if Dukes can replicate it. And he's got it. How about that finish? 2 tough putts to finish up the round for Florian Lutra and Jake Dukes. And a smile on the faces of both of those men as they make the walk to the clubhouse. So now we'll move back to the 18th tee. Blake Satler and Michael Brandom up there. Brandom -9 overall. 3 under par on the day. Satler 1 under for the day and 7 under for the tournament. First tee shot lands center fairway on the approach to the green. So both of these guys will make their way back up Starting to see some of that strong putting. See if that can carry over to this next duo. Standings at the top, no change since we last updated you. But Daniel Wederick will approach the 18th soon. He's got 3 holes to go and a 1-stroke lead over Peter Nade. Wederick with a chance to shoot one of the lowest rounds we've seen here this week. See if he can cap it off. He'll be here a few groups from now, and we will take a break here as we'll be back for the putts of this next group coming up to the green in just a moment. Stay with us here at the Clovernook Open. So Michael Brandom has sent this ball way left up near the left side tree line over the cart path. So he's going to have one of the toughest approaches up to the green that we have seen in this final round. Meanwhile, his counterpart, Blake Satler, has got his ball right in the middle of the fairway. So Satler set up for an ideal chip here. Currently in a tie for 23rd place. Brandom 10 slots in front of him on the leaderboard, but with a much tougher shot facing him here on the 18th. But how about that shot from Michael Brandom? Having to lift that over the bunkers on the left side of the green. And with his back up against that tree, he ends up getting himself a very makeable putt to get into the clubhouse. So now for Satler, he's going to set his up really nicely as well. Great chip, and that's going to leave him with pretty much a dead straight putt, going a hair downhill for the birdie here on 18. So Satler's got his ball set up, and again, a little bit of downhill to this, but should go pretty straight on him. For the birdie. He's got it. Two under for Blake Satler in his final round. We're seeing it a little bit from the 268s he shot in the opening 2 rounds of this tournament. However, not a bad way to end it on 18. I'll move up into a tie for 21st for the moment. Brandom for birdie. And just pushed it wide to the right. Tap it back in for the par. So Brandom finishes -3 in his final round. And 9 under on the tournament. Shot 68 all 3 rounds here this week at the Clovernook Open. And will stay for now in his tie for 13th. So back up to the 18th tee box. This is Michael Belker and Campbell Wolf on the tee. Belker 2 over today for a 5-under mark thus far. Same can be said for Wolf as his playing partner here in the final round. Belker heads in, having bogeyed the last, or I should say bogeyed on 16, but birdied 2 of the last 3. Wolf looking for his first birdie since hole 5. So those drives both left a little bit short of where you want to be in that landing area up near the collar of the green. So it'll leave both with some tougher approach shots coming up. And that'll be when we return. Again, taking a look at the leaderboard. And still Daniel Wettrick at the top through 16. He'll be here on the 18th in moments, and you won't want to miss that. Potential repeat champ here at Clovernook. That coming when we return. Back here on hole 18 at the Clovernook Open here in Cincinnati. Michael Belker and Campbell Wolf getting set for their approaches. And earlier on in the day, we saw that wind serve a little more as a crosser and less of a kind of straight down wind towards the golfers, and that meant we saw a fair amount of shots on the right side of the green. But after that third or fourth group, pretty much everybody has either been center or left, and that is where these two find themselves. Wolf playing from back left of the green. Didn't quite have enough on that chip to give himself an easy look at birdie. So he'll have to putt slightly uphill. Now as Balker steps up in a decent spot on the fairway. It's a little bit longer of a chip than maybe he would have wanted off the deck. He sticks that right next to the flag, and that is an excellent, excellent pitch in from Michael Balker. So he'll have a straight line look for the birdie. So Campbell Wolf will have an uphill putt. Looks like a little bit of right to left break as well. And just missed the edge. Not a bad effort from that distance. Left himself just a little bit long for a true tap in. Should have it for par. So now it'll be Balker to putt for birdie. Maybe a hair uphill here, but pretty straight. And he just pushed it to the right. Knew it the whole way. That's a tough pill to swallow after a phenomenal approach in. Nearly swirled out on him, but Balker will salute the crowd here as that drops for him for par. 2 over day for him as he'll head to the clubhouse. And now Campbell Wolf will try to do the same. And he'll tap it in for par. So Wolf and Belker finished tied, currently for 31st. At 5 under par overall, 2 over on the round. And now we head back to the 18th tee. This is where Jeff Berkshire and Griffin Wood are teeing off. Berkshire currently tied for 13th at 2 under. The first drive ends up off left. So that'll leave an uphill approach with much of the green in play. Griffin Wood, rough day for him after he was 7 under coming into the day. He's +3 on the round and -4 overall, tied for 35th. Next group will feature the current leader, Daniel Wedick. Still got 1 stroke on Peter Nade, the leader entering today. Wedick 16 under. He has now finished up the front 9, still 15 under par after a strong start. Entered with the lead. Eagled hole 1. Thought he might run away with this potentially, but it has been a little tougher on him, and we are going to see our first drive now all day. That is up on the green. We saw 1 eagle on this hole yesterday. It's going to be a long putt. Going all the way across the green from left to right. Starts downhill and then comes up as he approached the hole. But a chance. Right into that headwind. Onto the green will feature an eagle shot coming up in moments. So again, as you take a look at the leaderboard, local Will Grimmer out of Cincinnati at 14 under par through 13. Don't count him out just yet. And then there's that log jam behind him, as there's currently a 5-way tie for 4th place, featuring 5 different golfers, all within striking distance, 3 shots off the lead. And we'll have more for you when we come back. You're watching the 7th edition 2025 Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club in Cincinnati. Jeff Berkshire, Griffin Wood on the 18th. Here from Clovernook Country Club. Just saw Wood a moment ago. I mean, the first golfer today to get his drive up onto the green on the 18th. He's got a long putt in front of him. For Berkshire, he'll chip in off the left side of the green, a little bit short, have an uphill approach at the flag. That'll keep scooting up there for Berkshire. And he will face a tester for birdie. Now we'll see if Griffin Wood can get some eagle magic. Again, one eagle on this hole yesterday. Came from Tommy Kuhl, who had the low round of the tournament. One eagle in the opening round of the tournament as well. It's been a tough round for Wood, but this would be some way to finish it off. Wood steps up. Does he have it? It'll bend a little left on him. He'll end up with a tap-in birdie, but set up well by a brilliant drive. Wood'll have a chance to dish it in for the bird, and now Jeff Berkshire will have a birdie putt of his own. And it'll drop. So the drive is a little short, but a good approach. And Berkshire had just enough behind that putt to drip it in. He'll finish 3 under for the day and 10 under overall, and that'll jump him up into a tie for 12th place. For Griffin Wood, will tap in the birdie as well. So Wood will finish 2 over and 5 under overall. Tied for 30th as he heads to the clubhouse. So now an important group here on the 18th tee. Dylan Van Fawson is tied for 24th. He's even today. 7 under for the round. for Daniel Wettrick. Broke his string of birdies with a bogey on 17 and is now tied for first at 15 under. So this ball's coming up left and ends up actually coming right back down the middle of the fairway. And so a good drive to start off. And this ball is crushed directly at the flag, and this is going to come all the way up onto the green. And that is the best tee shot we have seen on 18 all day. Absolutely striped down the center. And after we didn't see any drives onto the green for the first 2/3 of this field, the last two groups have done it, and now an even better chance at a potential eagle for a third straight round. So it'll be about a 12-footer on the putt. Let's get a look at the folks enjoying the day here at Clovernook Country Club in North College Hill. 7th rendition of this tournament. And we will take a look at the standings, and again, all eyes up near the top and how this race will close out. Will Grimmer now within a stroke of the lead in third. Peter Nade, Daniel Wettrick still tied at the top. Big approaches and putts coming up when we return here from the Clovernook Open. Well, there is a look at Daniel Wettrick, who not only is tied for the lead at 15 under, went on a string of birdies, had 5 of them in a row, followed by a par on 16. Bogeyed 17 after he'd taken the lead for the first time all day, but he followed it up in a big way with a monster drive on this 318-foot par 4. Just the second player to hit the green off the deck today. Seen it in back-to-back groups now. And he's got himself a straight punt for a potential eagle, and that would do wonders for his case as he tries to edge out Peter Nade and win this event for the second time. Dylan Van Fawson, his partner, not in a bad spot here. A little bit short of the green. We have seen plenty of players with success getting the ball up near the flag from this exact spot. And that'll do. An approach from Van Fawson. He'll have a look for birdie. And some spectators have started to stir and make their way out of the clubhouse as the leaders are starting to get on these final few holes, and one of the men tied for the lead, Daniel Wedick, has a chance for a huge putt here on the 18th. Briefly took the lead. It was short-lived. There's been one eagle exactly in each of the first 2 rounds. Wedick had an ace on 11 in round 1. Can he complete a magical tournament here with a round 3 eagle to vault him back into the lead with 8 holes to go for Peter Nate? Cincinnati native, Ohio State Buckeye Daniel Wedick with a huge 3rd round. Trying to cap it off. And it burns the edge. So he'll tap it in for the birdie. Well, he's given himself a chance. I'm sure he would have loved to have that there at the end on the eagle putt, but can't complain at all with a 9-under round that puts him at 16 under par overall. And he takes a 1-stroke lead for the moment over Peter Nade, who's still got 8 holes to go, and he'll now have to wait around. Van Fawson can't quite put that one in. It ends up right on the edge of the cup. So we'll have to tap it in. So for Van Fawson, he'll finish up his round with the par. End up even on the day, 7 under for the tournament. But Daniel Wedick takes the lead again with the birdie on 18. And now 16 under par. So now Kevin Hall and Austin Squires have made their way to the 18th tee. This one will also end up on the green, and that's now 3 groups in a row that have driven the green here on 18. And again, this one will be way left on the green, and will leave a very long putt all the way across. But not out of the question yet for a third straight round in which somebody in this field has picked up an eagle on the 18th. Starting to get down to the bitter end here at Clovernook. 9 duos to go that'll come through the 18th hole, and for now it is Daniel Wedick. When that updates in a moment, he'll be at 16 under par and have a one-shot lead, with the attention now shifting to Will Grimmer and Peter Nade. How will they fare in their own efforts in the back nine? We'll have more updates for you when we come back. You're watching the 7th Clovernook Open here on Chatterbox Sports. Kevin Hall, Austin Squires coming up here, approaching the 18th flag back here at the 18th green here at the Clovernook Open. Kevin Hall with his approach. He'll chip it up, and that'll roll nicely for him to have a very short look at birdie. Third straight group we have seen a member drive the green. Austin Squires did so, and he'll have a long look at eagle. Speaking of driving the green, we saw Daniel Wedick do that with the last pair a moment ago. Ended up just missing off the edge with the eagle putt, but tapped in to take the lead, and we are pleased to be joined by his brother David Wedick, founder of the Clovernook Open. David, in year 7 now of this tournament. Can you believe it? Dating all the way back to 2019. Your brother's already won it once.
That's right.
Giving himself a chance to maybe win it again here, be the first repeat champ in 2025, as You saw his exciting performance here on 18 just a moment ago, but as you think back to the beginning of this tournament, what kind of made you want to start the Clovernook Open?
Well, I've been playing pro golf ever since I graduated from college, and I grew up here playing Clovernook, cut my teeth here ever since I was about 10, 12, 13 years old, and I really wanted to have a golf tournament and showcase how amazing this course was and how amazing the club was as well too. And one day I just so happened to talk to the right members, and one thing led to another, and we had a tournament of 50 mostly professionals and a lot of high level amateurs in 2019, and now we've grown to what we have now, which is quite amazing.
Talking about that growth a little bit, we've seen now the 3-round format. So we'll see the putt up to the hole.
Oh,
just a little bit short for Squires. So another near eagle. We've seen the 2 shots put up there on the left side of the green have produced some pretty good looks at the cup for eagle. But watching the field size expand as it has, watching the field become, it feels like increasingly competitive every single year with the professionals and, like you said, the high-level amateur players that you're bringing in, and you go to the 3-round format with the cut a few years ago, and even last year you end up with a playoff that goes a couple of holes, and the excitement that's been generated just when you pictured this tournament in your mind before you started it compared to now. What's that been like?
I didn't expect it to have the broadcast coverage like you guys helping out covering us this week and last year as well too. And I'll tell you what, it's quite incredible. I about 6 months into the tournament, year one, I looked at someone who was helping out with it, who still does, Todd Johnson of the GCGA. Was having dinner with him down in Florida, getting ready for the event over the wintertime, and a good finish by Kevin, by the way, too. And I told Todd, man, I didn't really expect to get this far, and still sometimes I have to pinch myself with all of this. So even having guys like you see in the picture now, Austin and Kevin and all the other great players we've had come through and compete over the last 7 years, it's been quite incredible to see where we are and where we've come.
Talk about the relationship with the GCGA a little bit. There's a lot of great courses in this area. You know, you being a Southwest Ohio guy, have played a lot of them. Why was it here that you wanted this to be the venue for the tournament?
It's home. So there was never any question of going elsewhere. And honestly, I don't know if any other clubs would have been receptive to it, with me being an outsider. But fortunately, with the ties and relationship that myself and my family have had with Clovernook Country Club, we were able to make it happen. So stars aligned.
This has turned into one of the largest non-PGA events, not only in the Midwest, but the entire country, right? And we've already talked about the growth from a player perspective with the format and the field size and the competitiveness, but just seeing the club and the community and the charity and the sponsorships that have all kind of built around this and the camaraderie involved with this tournament. How has it kind of felt for you to see everything outside of, you know, the actual players themselves grow over the course of the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, one of our goals with the tournament every year is just to get a little bit better and better, and just whatever we want to improve or tweak, we do so. And in the years past, 5 years ago, we began partnering with the First Tee of Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, and hosting a First Tee clinic either before the tournament or after the first round of the tournament. And most recently, last year, Cincinnati Children's and Play Yellow, one of their campaigns that they do that Jack and Barbara Nicholas are in on. We partnered with them too, pledging some birdies for however many birdies the pros make over the course of the last 3 days. Last year there were 987 birdies or better in total, and I know at the start of today we were at 947 birdies after 2 rounds and 25. So just a little side note there of how well, like, we're able to raise money pledging birdies and whatnot too. Yeah, I mean, the charitable partnerships have been great. It's been good to give back in that manner. And then also with regard to everyone else that takes place or that partakes in the event, whether they're sponsors, spectators, members, or players. We want everyone to leave the tournament or conclude tournament week feeling really happy and really good about this event and where it's going.
Having organized this from the beginning, what makes you most proud about the tournament from when it started compared to this year's rendition?
Well, it's very professional. I mean, it's truly open as well too. We want to make it so there's an opportunity for people of all skill levels to play. Obviously, you need to have a little bit of game to compete, but and there are some requirements. But we want to bring the best field in and want to make it open as well too. So that's why we call it the Clovernook Open, and it's been really fun to see where it's gone, and I'm looking forward to the years to come, the future years to come. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with how this week's gone, and yeah, I'm just kind of being the tournament director, but also like observers, like how can we improve for next year as well.
Talking about that future a little bit, we're now a year out from the 2026 Clovernook Open. You say you want to make things a little bit better every year. What are your ideas for next year?
Well, nothing concrete right now, but we definitely want to find a way to increase the purse size for the players. That's one thing that we want to do is we want to be a tournament for the players as well too. And a lot of these guys, they're on the brink of getting onto the PGA Tour or the DP World Tour, or they're just 1 week away. A lot of these guys could very easily be competing in the PGA Tour event in Philadelphia this week as well too. That just shows how vast and saturated the skill level is in professional golf. But we've had a lot of demand for this event, and not sure where we're going to go with field size, if we're going to increase it anymore. I think for the time of the year that we have, being in early May, I think 120 is kind of like that max or perfect number that we'd want to get as many people into the event as possible. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of ideas. We want to keep building off of this, get more people in, maybe get more attraction from the city, and for those listening or watching, whether it be live or in the future, we'd love to see everyone here next year at 2026 Clovernook Open.
Anthony McCaglia, 2022 Clovernook Open champ. Michael Devon on their way to the 18th green right now. So, a couple shots off to the right.
Pretty tasty from there, that's for sure.
Caglia, a little bit of a blind shot from up over that hill.
You can't quite see that, but where he is that's a grass bunker as well too, so it's pretty deep.
We saw it, mentioned it a few times. It seems like earlier on in the day, more players were out on that right side, and we've now seen the play kind of shift a little bit more left as the day's gone along. Wind direction has potentially played a little bit of a part in that. Just again, the former champ, Michael Davin. Sees that set up right on the lip of the fringe, and so he'll have an uphill putt for birdie here on 18.
It's actually similar to where he chipped in to win in 2022 as well. Just a fun fact. He was about 4 feet off the green into the rough, but similar hole location and where his ball is located as well.
Went 13 under in 2022 to win the Clovernook Open by 1 shot. It was in the first year of the 3-round format of this tournament.
And I'll tell you, Anthony's one heck of a player himself, too. I played college golf with him. I went to Wittenberg, and at the same time, he was at Oglethorpe in Atlanta. And in 2012, he won the national championship, I want to say by 6 shots.
Goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some game. He's at it for a long time.
Caglia coming in tied for 16th at 9 under. Having 5 under par plus 2 for the round. Just never looked like that really broke left to right for Devin. He'll have a tap in for the par. I mean, you know this as well as anybody, David, having, I'm sure, played this course hundreds and hundreds of times, but it feels like having overshot the hole, that has been the much tougher area to putt from today.
Yeah, it's not an easy location, as subtle as it looks around the hole. Last year it was the same location, and a lot of guys struggle to get the ball in the hole. I remember Graham Mackery had a putt to win and just left it short, and a lot of guys had opportunities around that hole but just can't seem to find the bottom of the cup.
Caglia will have to tap in. Both men take their pars here on 18. And so their rounds will come to a close here this afternoon. So founding the tournament and now directing the tournament as well. Organizing this, obviously, you know, a 3-day event for the players, and then you've got the festivities that happen on Tuesday of this week. But I'm sure this is a 12-month effort for you in getting this tournament organized with the rest of your team and the folks here at Clovernook Country Club. So just kind of walk us through what that process looks like in terms of assembling this field and getting everything ready for the event once a year.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a year-round job, and I get some help as well, too. Shout out to my brother Matthew, who's a little bit more behind the scenes. But Matt, thanks again for everything you do, and the rest of the committee and those that support the event. But yeah, we're working around the clock, and the plan after this tournament finishes up today is we're going to be figuring out how to make this event better next year and what we're going to do for 2026. And our sights are set for it, and looking to make it even bigger and better. And this has been a really promising year. We've had a lot of people step up in the last few months, to a lot of outside companies involved outside of the club. Like some of your neighbors up in Hamilton, I hear, Pawnee. They've done a great job helping out, being our hydration sponsor this year, and just kind of developing more relationships like that. That's one thing we foresee. And with regard to like I said, we're starting pretty much tomorrow on how to make this event better and preparing for 2026.
Looking at this field and the competitiveness of it, again, it feels like it gets more and more competitive every year, and the field size has expanded, obviously, but look at the quality of the players that are coming in to play this tournament, and you've already mentioned that, you know, a lot of these guys are right on the edge of touring professionals, right? But what are the things that you as an organizer are looking for to make this tournament enticing? I know you've talked about the purse, but other things as well to try and get high-level professionals to want to come in and play this tournament every year.
Well, we want to make them feel like they're professionals and that they're that they're at the best tournament, and we want to make them feel like they're at a PGA Tour event or even a major. And to this, like, I've had guys come up to me and call this place the Mini Masters just because of how well we run the event and how nice of a course it is compared to other tracks that professional golf is played on. Well, not quite professional golf, but developmental professional golf. And just looking at this group, I mean, Christian DeMarco is the son of Chris DeMarco, who's been contended for major championships against Tiger Woods back in 2005 and in the early 2000s, and was a PGA Tour winner himself. And Drew Salers, who's also the current Ohio Open champion. Those are just two guys that of the 120 that are here this week. And again, we just want to give them an experience that is second to none.
Again, Christian DeMarco and Drew Salers coming up towards the green here on 18. So you mentioned came down to this 18th green last year, sends things to a playoff. You get that fun experience for you and the fans. Get to see your brother win it in 2023. What's your favorite moment in Clovernook Open history?
Man, that playoff was really exciting last year, and getting everything kicked off the first day of the tournament in 2019. Andrew Dorn in the Pro-Am. Oh, that was a close shot. Andrew Dorn, the first day of the Clovernook Open's existence for the Pro-Am, shot 59, and that was quite exciting as well, too. That's the course record and still stands to this day. But I do have to say my favorite moment was when Daniel won 2 years ago. That was really special. It was the 100-year anniversary of the club too, and there was just a lot of stars aligning there. I know he's at the top of the leaderboard right now, and hoping he finishes off and becomes the first repeat winner of the tournament. But hey, we'll see what happens. I'm just pulling for a great event, and I got a little bit of bias towards little brother and pulling for him, but it's still going to be great to watch an awesome finish, and whoever wins is definitely going to be deemed a worthy champion.
Brother had 3 straight birdies in the final round to shoot a 66, finished 14 under par, won the event by 3 strokes in 2023. And again, he is atop the leaderboard still for the moment, 1 stroke over Peter Nade. Kevin Hall, who we just saw finish up, jumping up to 14 under, and he is currently tied for 3rd with Will Grimmer and Nicholas Sutton, who are still out there right now. And again, it's Wentrick in the clubhouse and Peter Nade, who's still out there through 13. That's 15 under to keep an eye on. In all likelihood, it appears your brother's going to have shot the low round on the day. Big one for him, going -9 to rocket up the field into first place, shooting the 62. So maybe an even better final round than that clutch he had in 2023 to win the Clovernook Open.
Yeah, the kid stepped up. He birdied 11 through 15 today, and that was quite incredible. So I'll tell you what, he was probably thinking 29, 59, 58 at some point, sitting on 16. But, hey, 62 still one heck of a round, and it's a way to golf your ball. And still shout out to Kevin and Andrew for putting up awesome rounds as well, too. Both of them climbing up the leaderboard as well, local guys.
Andrew Dorn tied for 6th. Kevin Hall tied for 3rd as they finish up their rounds with a 63 and 64, respectively. So for people that want to get involved, there's a lot of people that have to make this happen. There's, I'm sure, people that want to play. There's people that want to volunteer. There's maybe potential sponsors of the event. What's your message to them, having been at every rendition of this tournament and really, this is your baby, so to speak? What is your message to the people that want to help?
Find a way to contact me, which is on the website clovernookopen.com. You could whether you want to be a sponsor or volunteer, you're interested in playing, we'll get all that information out on that website, and then that's our main source of communication as well too. But yeah, I mean, we're looking for every and any help we can get. Whether you want to help out with our charitable partnerships with Play Yellow, Cincinnati Children's, and the First Tee of Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, or if you want to sponsor the event, we'd love that as well too. Again, we're looking for local businesses or any businesses in the area or anyone who's willing to help out the event anyway, whether it's sponsoring, volunteering. We're open and listening. Oh, good putt there.
Knocking it down for birdie. And tournament director David Wedick is with us. His brother Daniel's currently in first place right now by a stroke. Daniel Wedick 16 under par after shooting a 62 here today. So you see a 62 from your brother today. Tommy Kuhl yesterday, 2 eagles in the final 3 holes to shoot a 61 as he jumped up into the top 15 after it was looking like he may or may not even make the cut headed into the 16th hole yesterday. But having seen some of the all-time great rounds on this course and having, like you said, kind of grown up here on this course, what has that sort of meant to you? This tournament that you've created has seen some of the best rounds ever played on these grounds in your tournament. I
love it. I love seeing the course play difficult, but I also love seeing great golf as well too. I'm A-okay with 61s and 62s, and if the course is playing difficult enough where 6 or 7 under wins for 3 rounds, which it very easily could given the right conditions, so be it as well too. But yeah, that was a cool 61 for Tommy Kuhl. But yeah, he busted the doors open and didn't leave any question for whether or not he was staying for the final round.
Joey McCarthy, Matt Haluda off the deck. So both of them will have their approach shots coming up momentarily. So we can take a look at the standings. And so still a few holes to go for Will Grimmer, who's now moved into a tie for second place. So the local kid with the birdie on 16. And he will step up to the tee on hole 17 at 15 under par overall. And again, that's a tie for second place with Peter Nate, who's a few holes behind him. But still lots of things to be decided inside the top 15 over these last few holes as we start to see the last 6 pairings make their way through the back 9. But for now, it is still Daniel Wedick that is in front by a stroke. So we'll take a short break and be back in a moment. Again, this is the 7th Clovernook Open here from Clovernook Country Club in Cincinnati. We'll be back in a moment. Back here on the 18th green here at the Clovernook Open. Joined by tournament founder and director David Wedick. Luke Westpoli here with you, along with the rest of our Chatterbox Sports crew on hand here on this Friday afternoon from the Queen City. Temperature in the mid-60s for the 7th Clovernook Open. Joey McCarthy, Matt Haluda approaching the green. McCarthy, runner-up in 2022 to the aforementioned Michael Davin, who we saw come through here a few moments ago.
Joey also had one heck of a career at University of Cincinnati. I think right after he graduated was when he got runner-up at 22 as well.
Former Bearcat. He'll have a look at birdie here on the 18th. Knows how to attack this hole. Had an eagle in the final round in 2022. For McCarthy, it's going to be, for Matt Haluda, it's going to be a little bit of a tougher putt here. David, forgiving necessarily isn't maybe the right word to describe the 18th, but this is a hole that certainly allows for a little bit of a safety net that you can really attack, it seems like, off the tee to try and get on the green, or at least get it close, with the majority of players scoring par or under here. How nice has that been, just kind of to build some of that drama on the 18th, to have a hole like this? This almost seems like it's made for a final hole in tournament play, right?
Yeah, it really is. The last few holes here are quite spectacular for a finish. You have two par 5s on 16 and 17, and then this drivable par 4 for most on 18. It gives you an opportunity to make 3 eagles coming down the stretch, and you could very easily pick up a lot of shots. And I like to call this hole, or like consider this hole a quote-unquote pickup hole, where you could maybe get a shot back if you keep it in the right position, or just so happen to hit a good shot next to the flag, whether it be from your drive or on your approach. But yeah, this is an awesome finishing hole, awesome finishing stretch of holes too. Even up to like 14, 15 to all the way up to 18 it's an amazing back nine.
Yeah, throughout the afternoon we have seen it on the scorecard. I think most dramatically with your brother, right? But also in a few other examples where we have just seen, you check the scorecard, and every few minutes you see a guy just picking up another stroke, another stroke, another stroke on the next hole. McCarthy leaves that one a little bit left. He'll tap in for the par. So Ryan Sullivan and Angus Flanagan now onto the 18th tee. We've got 5 pairings left that will come through. And again, it is still Daniel Wedick in the lead. Will Grimmer 1 stroke back. He's got 2 holes to get that stroke. And again, a very birdieable 18th for sure. And first shot will come up near the collar of the green. And if you're trying to drive the green, how strategic are you trying to be on this hole? Because obviously you mentioned, this is a very drivable green, and we've seen it a number of times for these players. But if you don't quite get it there, we have seen players in a number of different places have success. So is this just a situation where you're trying to drive the green, and if you don't get it there, then you plan for the chip, or is there a situation where maybe you could lay it up?
Yeah, I think most of these guys today are going to be trying to just take a rip at it. A great shot by Angus there just now to get on and with his drive. But, yeah, a lot of these guys have the distance to make it at least to the front edge of the green. With the wind being a little into and off the left, that's why we're kind of seeing some guys end up right if they're not really calculating for it, I assume. But, yeah, I mean, I'd say most of these guys are taking one final big rip at it just to get to the green in hopes to pick up 2 shots instead of 1, because, I mean, that's a dangling carrot that the 18th hole at Clovernook offers.
And again, downwind, it was a little bit tougher, especially for some of the golfers earlier in the day to get it up on the green. But as we have seen some of these leaders make their way through, it's become more common as the afternoon has worn along. So Flanagan, who's currently in a tie for 10th, will have an eagle look on the green. And how about the effort these players have put forth who've driven the green? I mean, even on the furthest edge, we've seen a couple of the drives placed. There have been some pretty good eagle runs, although we haven't seen the eagle yet that we've seen in the first 2 rounds in this tournament. I mean, we're talking about some long putts that have come awfully close to the cup so far.
Yeah, and we may see some, but no one's quite gotten their drive at least flag high yet, which is not quite surprising with it being a northeast wind today. I mean, any wind coming from the north is pretty cold, which means it's going to affect the ball pretty good, and it's going to knock it down.
So as Flanagan and Sullivan make their way up, we'll take a break. You're watching the 7th Clovernook Open. Back here on the 18th, here at the Clovernook Open in 2025. Angus Flanagan and Ryan Sullivan coming up here to the green. Luke Westpoli and David Wetterick with you. Pleased to be joined by Caitlin Bamforth with Cincinnati Children's.
Hello.
One of the charitable causes that the Clovernook Open is supporting this year. Last 2 years, the partnership between Cincinnati Children's Hospital and the Clovernook Open. And we talked a little bit about the partnership with Play Yellow and the Birdie Pledges, where fundraising is given for for every birdie that was made at the Clovernook Open this year, and expected to surpass 1,000 birdies in this tournament here today in the final round. But Caitlin, can you just talk about how the money that's raised is impactful for Cincy Children's?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now more than ever, donors and events like this that fundraise for Cincinnati Children's are so important. But also just having a community like this that understands and appreciates the world-class care that we have right in our backyard. I mean, we're all so lucky to have Cincinnati Children's so close by. One of, if not the best, children's hospital in the nation. And just coming together to support that with something as fun and amazing as a golf tournament like this is just such a great way to support.
You talk about the pediatric care that Cincinnati Children's provides. Of course, it's nationally renowned, and areas specifically like the Pediatric Cancer Center are considered one of the best in the entire world, right?
Yes,
but
yep.
Can you talk a little bit about some of kind of the emerging areas of Cincinnati Children's that you're really seeing progress on over the last few years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our organization is not only number one in care, we are ranked in the top 10 in all 10 subspecialties of pediatric care that are ranked nationally, but also in research. And there's a lot of really incredible studies and things happening right here in Cincinnati. One thing I'll talk about is our, our Proton Cancer Center in Liberty Township. We are one of 2 pediatric specific proton cancer therapy units in the country. And that is just incredible work going on there that impacts cancer care for kids in our hometown, but also kids come from all over the country and all over the world to be treated right here in Cincinnati. And that kind of proton therapy is so much, it's a lot easier on their little bodies than chemotherapy and radiation and things like that. And those are the kind of things where we're not just doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. We're not doing what kind of has become the norm in pediatric care. We're looking to the future, and we're doing things differently to help impact the lives of our kids so that they can dream and look to the future as well.
Events like this that are community driven and community oriented, how do those impact your work and the families that you serve?
Oh yeah, it's just wonderful to get to come together, and especially knowing that this kind of care is right in our backyard. It's almost like a family reunion, getting everyone together in this kind of setting to fundraise for our very own children's hospital.
Couple birdie putts getting lined up here on 18. Any programs that you want to highlight about Cincinnati Children's? I know you talked about the proton therapy a little bit, but
I mean, donors and fundraising are so important for all of the care and research and things that go on at Cincinnati Children's, but also I always like to highlight our child life services because those are some of the most important programs that take place in a children's hospital, because even though our kids that are being treated here are some of the most resilient kids that you'll ever meet, they are still children, and so child life services make sure to make that experience a little less stressful. They reduce anxiety with things like dog therapy, art therapy, music therapy, play therapy. Just giving those kids an opportunity to be children is so important. And we hear from our families all the time that they always look forward to child life coming into their hospital rooms because they know that they'll see a smile. And how often do you really get to see your kid smile when they're in the hospital? So that's why that is so important, and almost entirely donor funded because it's considered an extra. It's not something that insurance covers. So that's why donors are so important.
Seeing kind of the community get together and rally for this cause and fundraise for this cause, what does that mean to, first off, you guys, but then also, of course, the children? You talk about these extra programs that the fundraising efforts seek to provide to them. What does that mean to these kids that kind of see the support system that you guys have put in place?
Yeah, and something that a lot of people don't know is that at Cincinnati Children's, we care for every single child, regardless of their ability to pay. So that is something that most families might not know necessarily, that it is donor funded, but every family can see the impact of that undeniably.
Caitlin Bamforth with the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, one of the charitable causes supported here by the Clovernook Open. Hope you've enjoyed the tournament. Hope you're going to enjoy the finish. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got the next group up here on the tee. This first drive is going to head, looks like, way out to the right. That's going to end up near that grass bunker back behind the hill. So Wyatt Worthington with the first drive, and now, or excuse me, with that second drive, and it'll be Brett Stagmier along with him to come up for the approach shots, and we will take a short break here from the Clovernook Open. Getting down to the home stretch here from North College Hill. Won't want to miss the finish coming up next. Back here at Clovernook Country Club, here for the 2025 Clovernook Open. Luke Westpoley, David Wenerick, and Patty Raggio joining us from the first tee of Greater Cincinnati in Northern Kentucky. How are you, Patty?
Happy to be here.
Enjoying the day, enjoying the weather. You guys have been involved in this event all week long, and we're here at the finish line.
Absolutely. The weather's fantastic. The golf is better, and we're happy to be here for year 5 of 7. So.
Wyatt Worthington, Brett Stagmier, both approaching the green here on the 18th. So you guys with First Tee partnered with the Open to do a junior clinic this week. Can you just talk about kind of what that is and how that what kind of experience that's provided to the kids?
Absolutely. As I said, this is our 5th year working with the Pro Clinic out here at Clovernook Open. Really, really pleased to be the recipient of the talent and extraordinary commitment of the pros that come out and want to spend some time with kids who are learning not only golf, but how to live life in a great way and build some character skills. So on Tuesday, we had almost 75 kids doing a drive chip putt competition. And we added a feature this year where they followed their pro down 2 holes and had a real tournament-like experience. So that was a highlight for them.
For the kids that participate, just in terms of their development, but also you talk about kind of the life aspect and their mentality, their confidence as golfers. What does this week do for them and that experience to kind of be one-on-one with the pros?
Yeah, these kids that come out for the Pro Clinic, some of them are our regular participants, and some of them are from our community programs in the local schools. So we do a great deal of work with phys ed teachers throughout the community. We had kids here from the North College Hills School District as well as College Hill Schools, and those kids may never have walked on green grass for a golf experience ever in their lives. So while it was a combination, what it does for these kids is, I would say, it opens their eyes. It's inspirational and it's aspirational in ways that I don't know that they know golf would even be for them. So we're hoping to open it a few eyes and reinforce a fantastic golf experience for our regular participants, as well as introduce it to kids that maybe only ever saw the inside of a gym or a plastic golf club.
What sorts of things outside of just the game of golf, but you talk about the life skills a little bit, are you guys working to kind of get through to these kids that are involved in these programs?
Absolutely. First Tee, all over our 150 networks internationally, delivers what we call an integrated life skills curriculum. So we're teaching them the how-tos of the golf game and getting them out on the golf course, but mostly we want them to learn things like resilience and goal setting. We want them to be able to operate within the rules of the game and learn some integrity lessons. Honesty is a really big thing for us because we know that you can spend a lot of time out on a golf course with a lot of people, but if you're not very honest, they might not invite you back. So these are the kinds of things that our kids take away, as well as the opportunity to really just get up the next day and start over again, that resilience factor, and that in turn builds confidence.
Events like this with professional athletes that have dedicated their life to the game of golf, that can seem very far off to some of these kids that are coming in, right? So why is it important for you guys to come in and give these kids this experience to kind of bridge the gap for these kids to the game of golf, and especially golf at a high level like at this tournament?
Well, first of all, these guys make it easy. They're very approachable. It's a warm feeling. They're excited to be there. They're volunteering for the clinic, so they want to be there to help the kids. And I would say that one of the things that social media has done for young people is it's kind of flattened the experience. So if they follow these guys, they feel like they already know them. So I think David here would attest to the fact that he got lots of requests for autographs because, people really, they saw it as aspirational, but they also kind of want to be around the excitement of the game and around people that really are achieving excellence in the game as well.
For those that want to get involved in the organization, volunteering and such, how do they do that?
They go to our website. The headquarters has a website, firsttee.org. Our chapter website is firsttgcnky.org. So think of it as Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, or you can Google First Tee in your area, and our chapter will show up on your finder, your map finder.
Patty Reggio from the First Tee of Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Organization does great work and longtime partner here at the Clovernook Open. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. So proud to be here.
So, Wyatt Worthington, Brett Stagmier finish up their round, and we've got 3 pairings left to come through here on 18 as we'll take another look down at the 18th tee. So Will Grimmer lining up, and this is a big hole for him. 1 stroke back of the lead. He's been there for a couple of holes now after he birdied on 16. Picked up the par on 17. And this is going to end up somewhere out left.
That's a good angle.
Yeah, we've seen some of the better approaches come from that area here today. Would need a birdie to at least move into a tie with Daniel Wedick, and then he would also have to spend some time nervously waiting for what transpires behind him. Peter Nade has stayed strong at minus 15. He's now through 16, so he's going to come up right behind this group. A couple of groups from now with Tommy Kuhl. Let's take a look at the tee shot for Mark Lawrence.
Wow, that's the longest drive today.
That actually
That was
overshot
incredible.
the green. It's going to end up in the rough, a couple feet beyond the fringe on the near side. Like you said, we were talking a little bit off air that nobody had really even driven it pin high yet today, and that has surpassed it.
Yeah, I don't know much of Mark's game. I've heard he's had quite the college career the last few years, and fresh out of I don't quote me on this. So sorry if I get it wrong, Mark, but I believe Virginia Tech.
Yep.
And yeah, the Hokies had one heck of a week so far.
Richmond, Virginia native. So he'll stride up as you take a look at the standings, and we'll take one more break here at the Clovernook Open. Again, finish line in sight. Right now it's Daniel Wedick's day. Can Will Grimmer at least move in to try and force a playoff, or are we going to see Peter Nade come from behind and steal the party? We'll have to see when we come back. Again, this is the 7th Clovernook Open on Chatterbox Sports. Back here at the Clovernook Open, and things are mighty close here down the stretch, as it is currently Daniel Wedick in the lead, but Will Grimmer, one stroke behind, has got an approach. If he can get it up close, a putt in for birdie would put him in a tie for the lead. And also keep an eye out for Peter Nade on 16. And Nicholas Sutton, who we'll see in the next group coming in, 2 strokes back of the lead as well, and he is still alive with potentially an outside shot at getting back into this thing. So big chip coming up here for Will Grimmer. It's a local kid from Marymount in Cincinnati. Tied for 9th at this tournament last year. Be chipping from just in front of the cart path.
Come on.
This slows down a little bit on him, and this is going to be a tough putt for Grimmer if he wants to get in playoff position. Just left that one a little bit short. Not out of the question. We've seen a couple putts from that distance today, but it's going to be difficult. Again, with David Wetterick, Luke Westpoli with you. Derek Tincher is with us as well from the Play Yellow initiative. After that crush drive by Mark Lawrence, the Virginia Tech Hokie nearly holes out. So he'll have a short putt for the birdie. But we've talked a little bit, Derek, about Play Yellow, and you guys are the title sponsor of the 18th flag here, and we've got the birdie pledges that have been going throughout the week. So can you just talk a little bit about what Play Yellow is and how you guys have partnered with events like the Clovernook Open to donate to some impactful charities?
Yeah, absolutely. So Play Yellow started in 2019, really with Jack and Barbara Nicholas in collaboration with the PGA Tour, ultimately to just raise awareness and raise some money for children's health care. So the story started with Jack way back in the 1970s when he became really good friends with a kid named Craig Smith, and Craig unfortunately had Ewing sarcoma, and they got to know each other well over the years, ultimately led to Jack wearing a yellow shirt at the 1986 Masters when he had that famous putt and victory. But really it was Craig saying, hey, my favorite color is yellow. I think it's your lucky shirt if you continue to wear it. And all these years later, in 2019, they put pen to paper and got this initiative going, and over the past 5 years now have been able to raise over $100 million through the game of golf with Children's Miracle Network. So really exciting, but also want to continue leaving that legacy well beyond them.
So as it pertains to this tournament, over 1,000 birdies here this weekend with the birdie pledges. This is a big putt coming up here from Grimmer.
Oh.
And he just missed it left. And so for Grimmer, he's going to end up a stroke off the lead. And unfortunately, that will not put him in a spot where he could compete for his first Clovernook Open championship.
I foresee a Clovernook Open victory from him in the future, though. One heck of a player.
Promising young kid out of Cincinnati. Big Ten runner-up in 2017. Again, another top 10 finish on the way for him here at Clovernook. Mark Lawrence will hold out for the birdie. And so, Derek, talk a little bit about the birdie pledges. So we see some birdies getting tapped in here on the 18th, and what you've been able to raise here in partnership with the Clovernook Open and how that's had an impact.
Yeah, certainly. So one of the best things about, I think, Play Yellow and Children's Miracle Network in general is all these funds always stay local. So everything here this week is going straight back to Cincinnati Children's. It's unrestricted to them, so they can use it whatever needs they have to help fulfill those. But we love seeing events like this kind of take on the birdie pledge style of event. There's so many different ways to activate with this, whether it's just taking general donations, but this keeps people engaged, from the players to the donors to the fans. Ultimately, I know we're excited to see what that final number comes out to be. Sounds like it's going to be, larger than last year, which is obviously always a good thing, and continue to grow it throughout the years. So we certainly appreciate the support and ultimately just want to continue raising awareness. Our goal is to make it to where if you see yellow on the golf course, you connect that with children's health care, hopefully your local children's hospital. Unfortunately, with so many people having ties to it, not something you want people to be familiar with, but chances are you can walk down the street and 9 out of 10 people are going to know, their local hospital and have a connection to it.
Kyle Mueller approaching.
This is the second to last pairing. Mueller tied for 9th, 1 under on the day. So how did this partnership coalesce with Play Yellow and the Clovernook Open? This is obviously very charity-forward tournament, which we've discussed at length with a number of guests throughout the afternoon. But this tournament specifically, I know that you've done a lot of work with tournaments not only in Ohio but really all over the country. And so, how did the relationship come about between Play Yellow and the Clovernook Open?
So this is the second year that it's been a partner with the event, and ultimately came from really Mark seeing this initiative, reaching out, and really just making sure that he got the right people in front of this and got the right people behind it. I think ultimately he was telling me that he got connected with the Nicholas family and their foundation some to where they reached out. So we're always looking for new events like this. Like I said, not only golf focused, but the guys that are playing here we see as, hopefully some rising stars and guys that can make a name for themselves, whether it be on the Korn Ferry or PGA Tour someday. So right now we have around 40 ambassadors throughout Play Yellow. Some of them are on the PGA Tour. Some of them are more in the influencer space. But I think, being able to be seen to these guys as they're playing, hopefully keeping us in mind, and obviously us keeping them in mind as well as they continue to make a name for themselves.
Derek Tincher with Play Yellow. Guys have done great work not only with this tournament, but all around the game of golf, and over $100 million raised since 2019 for children's cancer charities. Derek, thank you for joining us, and enjoy. It's supposed to be a fun finish here to this tournament we got coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on.
So we'll take one final break. Clovernook Open finish line on the way. Kyle Mueller getting set for his approach. And that's a beauty. Over top the bunker. Using with a very makeable putt for birdie. Mueller part of that 6-man playoff last year that eventually saw Willie Mack crowned as champion of the Clovernook Open. And David, maybe smell another playoff coming, potentially. We'll see how this last hole shakes out. Peter Nade, we've received word, did get a birdie picked up on 17, and so that puts him into a tie for first place with Daniel Wederick. And so he'll have a chance for a birdie for the win here on 18. But you never know with what we've seen here on this hole today.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier on air, it's quite an exciting finishing hole, and I think we're definitely getting our popcorn out moving forward. Either a playoff or we're going to see a birdie to win, which is either is going to be spectacular.
Certainly so. Peter Nade looking for his first Clovernook Open win. Daniel Wederick looking for his second. He'd be the first multi-time winner. Kyle Mueller and Nicholas Sutton on the green. Just pulled a little bit left. Be a tap in. As you mentioned, Sutton was within outside striking distance with a few holes to go, but unfortunately just stuck at that minus 14 mark, but still a strong showing for him. He'll finish in all likelihood tied for fourth. Move into a tie for eighth with this putt. And it lips out. Tap in par for Mueller. He'll stay in that 9th place spot for now. Tap in par as well for Nicholas Sutton. Couple of strong showings from these two men, but that sets the table for the two that are on the 18th tee. Tommy Cole, who shot the low round of the tournament, came in with a chance to win it here today, and could technically still put himself in position, would need the eagle Peter Nade, on the other hand, in a tie for first, just needs the birdie. It's all but lock up the win. So Cool's trying to just step up and rip this thing. And just left it, looks like, in the rough. He'll need to hole out from off the green for eagle if he wants to put himself into a tie for first. Not a bad effort, but again, with that headwind, it's going to be a tough ask to get that up near the pin. Not out of the question, though. We've seen it happen before here on 18, holding out from off the green in crunch time.
Yeah, I mentioned Davin did that in 22 to win right after Joey McCarthy sunk about a 40-foot eagle putt 20 minutes beforehand, too. So, like we said, chance for a lot of excitement. Looks like this one's going a little right, too, into that grass bunker.
So that makes things a little bit interesting now. Peter Nade just needs to get this close to put it in for birdie. That would put it out of the question, as Cool would not be able to catch him. And he would also move in front of Daniel Wedick for sole possession of the win. But some big shots coming up. Only one of them needs it to go in. Again, Tommy Cool entering today was the only player in the top 15 who had shot a round of 70 or higher. Did that in round one. He was in the top 15 because he shot a 61 yesterday. It was not an orthodox 61 either. It was not a bogey-free round by any means. Bogeyed 2, bogeyed 10. But it was a round that included 3 eagles, and he went 5 under on the last 3 holes. And again, was sitting right above that cut line headed into today. Ended up making sure there were no two ways about it. He was making the cut, and he was also going to make sure he'd put himself in position to win here today. He's going to need a miracle chip if he wants it to happen, but not dead yet. For Peter Nade, on the other hand, there has not been a golfer this weekend that has played as consistently as he. 65 in round 1, 64 in round 2. He is -3 today. We've seen some crooked numbers put up. Daniel Wedick, who's currently tied for first with him, went 9 under today to rocket up the leaderboard. But for Nade, he goes 3 under, and he makes his way into first place. He'd gone nearly wire to wire. Mentioned earlier when Wedick stepped up. The ace on 11 in round 1. Is that miracle shot going to be what keeps him in contention for potentially a second Clovernook Open title? David, it's felt like very few have replicated just the hole-by-hole level-headedness that Peter Nade has exhibited this week. An experienced professional. And really, again, you're not seeing anything statistically crazy. We've seen a few golfers put together a run of a few holes that have been pretty incredible, but for Nade, it has just been fantastic golf through 3 rounds and trying to cap it off with a win. So he's made things a little more difficult on himself, putting it in that grass bunker behind the hill, right side of the green. Peter Nade, the 27-year-old. Marilyn Terrapin will step up to the green. We knew we wouldn't have a back-to-back champion coming into today after Willie Mack III missed the cut. Defending champ. Question now is repeat champion or not. Nade was completely bogey-free yesterday. Things were a little bit rockier for him throughout today, but the birdie on 17 was huge for him. And he's left it long. And it's all the way up onto the fringe.
That's a tough shot, Luke. I mean, given what we saw with Wyatt Worthington a couple groups ago, he kind of had a rough go of it, leaving it short a couple times before he entered onto the green. With Peter in that position, I sense he probably didn't want to take too many risks and opted for the insurance play of favoring long.
Can Tommy Cool now insert himself into contention? Needs to hole out here to tie for first. Oh, and he gave that a good run. It was a good week for Tommy Cool. It's unfortunately for him not going to end with a win, but can't take away, especially from what he did yesterday over the final 3 holes. He shoots the low round of this tournament at 61. It'll end up just short here on the final day of the tournament. So this is relatively straight, David, but with the variable added that you're on the fringe here, how much of a run are you even going to give this now if you're Peter Nate?
Well, just from having this putt in the past, it's going to go a little to the left on him, and it's slightly uphill. The greens are slick this week, so I mean, I know you want to give it a chance, but not blow it by too far. I think he's eyeing this pretty good, even though he's not able to touch it with it being off the green. We'll see what happens here. This is for the win.
Nade for the win. Just misses it right.
Yeah, that broke away from him off that mound. It started taking it. That flag is somewhat up that slope on the back right corner of the green. So it was taking that break to the left, but in that last second it just started curling back to the right. Good run for Peter, though.
Now Tommy Cool, if he could knock this down, he'd move into a tie for third. Missed it left. So Kuhl will stay in his spot. He'll finish in a tie for 4th at 14 under par. So now Peter Nade. Oh, and it's holed out. And he'll tap it in. And that means that in stunning fashion, one of the few bogeys we've seen all day comes on the final hole, and Daniel Wedick repeats. He's the first two-time champion, 2023 and 2025. He wins the Clovernook Open here in Cincinnati. Wow, what a finish there.
I did not expect that. That was shocking.
And so, fueled by the 9-under round of 62, second best round we've seen all weekend in the clutch. Daniel Wedick, who gave a good run in his own right for Eagle way back what felt like eternities ago with the middle cards, ends up winning his second Clovernook Open after the tie was broken on the final hole with a bogey by longtime leader Peter Nade. And wow, I think a stunned crowd, but a crowd that I think is going to be very satisfied by the golf they saw this weekend and the finish that they were treated to here at the end, David.
Yeah, it was a great tournament through and through. Congrats to Daniel on getting win number 2 as well. I'll definitely go congratulate him here shortly. But yeah, I was really expecting a playoff 2 consecutive years in a row, but still, what an awesome tournament. Great playing by Daniel, Peter, and the rest of the field as well too.
So, I believe we're going to have Daniel on here with us in a moment, but a matter that's certainly very personal to you. You said one of your favorite moments in this tournament's history was watching him win in 23. Now watching him here this week, how's it stack up?
That's pretty incredible. I mean, for him to get a hole-in-one day one on his second hole of the tournament, and then for him to just play consistently well the next couple days as well is incredible, and really happy to see him pull it off. I mean, it's definitely going to be up there with one of the special moments, especially with how this event has grown as well too. So yeah, congrats to Daniel as well, and yeah, it was still an awesome event too.
Absolutely. 16 under par. Daniel Wedick is your Clovernook Open champion in 2025. Well, David Wedick, thank you for putting on a great event. We appreciate you being with us for the last little bit here and providing some insight on a course that I know you know and love very much. So thanks so much for being here, and appreciate you putting on the event as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Luke.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break, and I believe we're going to have Daniel Wedick with us when we come back. So stay tuned for that. He's your champion in 2025 at the Clovernook Open. Awesome. Back here as we get you wrapped up from the 2025 edition, the 7th edition of the Clovernook Open. Luke Westpoli with you, along with the rest of our Chatterbox Sports crew. It came down to the wire. Daniel Wedick, you are the champion for the second time in your career at the Clovernook Open. Played some phenomenal golf today. You go 9 under, going from 7 over, a few strokes over that cut line, to really vaulting yourself into that group of leaders. You had a string of 5 birdies in a row between 11 and 15. At what point in this round did you really start to feel like you could maybe win this thing?
Honestly, the first hole I had a really good chance for eagle, and I ended up making it. And I was like, shoot, if I keep this up, things can be pretty special. And I ended up bogeying number 2, but it was a really good putt, kind of lipped out on the low side, but then I just hung in there, birdied the holes that I needed to birdie coming in on the front 9, and then just 11 through 15, honestly, it felt like I went unconscious for a little bit. I think 11, I hit it to 2 feet, 12, I hit it to 2 feet, 13, I made like a 20-footer up the hill, and then I almost made a hole-in-one on number 14, which was probably the best shot of the tournament. Oh, no, it's not the best shot of the tournament.
Let's talk about the best shot of the tournament, because you had a hole-in-one on number 11 in the first round. Talk about that experience and starting off the tournament like that. I mean, it's probably not possible to have a bad tournament after something like that happens so early.
I mean, it was crazy. The ball was up into the air, landed a little short right, and trickled in, and I was very surprised. I was very shocked. This is a tournament of being shocked for me right now. It's like, on this last hole, I was very, very surprised that, I mean, I thought Peter made that putt. And when it flipped out like that, I was just in awe. But congrats to him, and also congrats to Will as well on playing a great tournament. But, yeah, on number 11, just started out the tournament really, really well for me.
So you get the 3 birdies in a row, 5 through 7. You get the 5 in a row in the back 9, and now you're looking at 16 through 18. You're staring it down. You know that you've got some players that are, around you that you're probably going to finish around that still have a lot of golf left to play. Mm-hmm. You bogey on 17, but then you hit a big drive on 18. You give yourself a chance for eagle. So as you're kind of walking up the 18th green, knowing that you're going to have to take care of business on the green. Ultimately, gave it a good run, but missed the eagle putt, had to tap in for birdie. And then what was it like to sit around for, I'm sure, what felt like hours and hours and hours while waiting for everything to play out on the course?
Yeah, I was over there sitting with a couple of my buddies, some old college teammates, and we were watching some groups come in. And then when I saw that Peter and Will were coming down the stretch, I decided to go hit some golf balls. And then I was out there for probably, like 15 to 20 minutes, and I went over and putt, and then came to watch the finish. So it kind of went by pretty quickly, but yeah.
Your brother, who we had on here for much of the last half of this session here today, when we talked about his favorite moments from this tournament, he said your win 2 years ago was up at the very top.
Yes.
But, this being a course that's so personal to you and your family, and being from Cincinnati, and obviously this event, and having your brother be the one that puts it on, you felt what it's like to win before, but what is that feeling like to win something that's so personal?
Oh, it's great. A lot of people think there's like a home course advantage and all that stuff, but when it comes to tournaments like these, sometimes having it be your home course puts a lot of pressure on you. And in all honesty, like at the beginning of the round on Wednesday, I kind of like let loose a little bit and kind of relaxed and just settled in. But no, it was really special. 2 years ago was amazing, and the way we finished it was amazing as well. David handing me that book of Mr. Harrison was very, very special and a really nice moment.
Got a lot of the hometown fans in the house. Well, Daniel, congratulations. You're the first 2-time winner in the history of this event.
Thank you.
And a champion here in 2025.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, we appreciate you for tuning in here today. It was a really fun 2025 Clovernook Open. Daniel Wedick is your champion for the second time in his career. So that'll wrap things up for us. Rest of our crew that did a great job making things possible: Casey McAllister, Trace Fowler, Sean Spurlock, Reed Mouse, everybody else behind the scenes. Luke Westpoli saying so long here from North College Hill in the Clovernook Open. We'll see you in 2026 for the next edition. Until then, bye-bye.